Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my latest layout for CSI, and this is case file 428 and it's got a Valentine's love feel. So I've been through my stash and I've pulled out lots of bits that matches the colours there on the right. So there's a orangey red, a pink, white, a nice warm yellow and a dark grey. And I love these challenges and I would really recommend you check them out because it's a great way to stash burst. As you can see from what's in front of me, I don't pick out a specific collection. I go through all the old supplies that I hold on to and I see what I can use to use it up and get it in your album. And essentially that's what we're all about, isn't it? I know that sometimes buying craft supplies and using them feels like two separate hobbies, but actually I am trying to get as much of the older stuff used up, and challenges like the ones that CSI run are perfect for doing this. So the paper I've used as the bottom, potentially at the moment now, the pinky marbled one, is actually a Maggie Holmes bloom paper. Not sure of the year. I'm just having a look at the strip, 2015. Goodness me, doesn't that make me feel old? Anyway, so, and the one with the flowers there, that with the white, yellow and like a dark pink, that's actually a Webster's Pages. And I can only tell you that because those still had the manufacturer's strips on. When I keep pieces of paper and embellishments and the collections really no longer exist, I tend to keep things by colour. Or theme. I do keep things, if they're very Valentine's-y, I'll keep them together. I don't want to be very Valentine's-y on this one, so I'm definitely going on the colours that are on the this challenge. So getting back to it, if you've ever done one of these challenges before, you know there's a few things involved. You can make it as complicated or as simple as you would like. There's always an image, there's always a set of 5 colours. There's some evidence, which is really like ephemera and bits and pieces to use, and there's a testimony. So the testimony, there was various things that you could choose from. There's some inspiration words, there's some topics, and I've picked document someone you love, and that's when I've chose the photo that I've used today. The evidence list is my favourite bit. It's where I feel like I can really dig in my stash and use as many bits and pieces as I can. And I'll just give you an idea. So you might notice in the video that I've actually printed it out. Bizarrely, I like to tick them off when I've used them. I'm a bit old school. I do like a pencil. And it's just really, it challenges you in a good way to use things, and maybe you'd use bits on a layout that you wouldn't necessarily normally use. So you can see in the video that my mind is working. I haven't trimmed any of the papers down as yet, but I'm looking at all the embellishments and bits and pieces in the tray and tags and bits to see where they could go on this layout. I'm looking to do a big cluster at the top left with the photograph and a smaller cluster at the bottom right. So on this list of evidence it says ledger pattern, grid pattern, squiggles, Valentine themed items, hearts, balloons, labels, envelopes, postage stamps, banners, clouds, bicycle buckles, metal circles, ribbon, flowers, stars, vellum, buttons, bottles, moustaches, handwriting. Loads to choose from. And I feel like every time I do a challenge, I think I'm going to try and use all of them. I've never quite got there. I know that Debbie that runs CSI, she has, and she has used all of them on a layout in the past. I've never quite got there, but I always try and give it my best. So, so when I'm getting bits out to actually make the challenge with, I do look at the evidence to think, oh yeah, I'll look, see if I've got any buttons. I'll have a look, see what I've got that's buckles, for example, is on this list. And I do use a buckle. And I remember having some years ago. And it did take me a little bit of time to find them. But actually, they cover 3 things on the evidence. It's circular and it's metal. So it was perfect. It ticked off 3 things. So I'm now looking at trimming the papers down. I don't want them to be so big at the top. I've got a grey ledger and a yellow grid behind the photograph. Then there's like a darker Polaroid and some ephemera. And I've got a couple of tags underneath the photo there. So I know how I kind of want it to go. And I've got a few other like ledger bits that I've cut out of half sheets of paper there. So while I place those in, I'm trying to figure out how small to make the paper with the flowers on, because I really like the dark pink bits. I think they go really well with some of the collection of bits and pieces I've got at the bottom. So I'm just going to mark with pencil, and I'm most likely going to use my tearing ruler. This tearing ruler, honestly, it's probably older than my kids. I got it, it's Fiskars, and I got it when I was a card maker. And, well, yeah, literally, it could be older than my youngest child. And I love it, and it just gives a bit of a torn edge. If you don't want to actually just go for it and tear a piece of paper, it just gives a nice crinkled edge. So a massive part. It's one of the mainstays in my stash. So I'm just having a look. So now there's less paper on the actual base layer, I can see where I'm going a little bit more. I do like sometimes to have a clear around the desk just to clear some stuff off so I can focus on the things that I originally chose. The leaves of vellum that you can see, they were cut from a massive great 12 by 12 originally, and they've appeared on lots of different layouts ever since. I think they're just a really nice bit. There's a bit of shine on them, so you can't really see them so well in the video. So I'm now looking at this collection at the bottom. Excuse me. The So Happy is a card, a 3x4 card, and it was Simple Storage did these years ago. I don't know what year it was, but it's a very old one. And then I found this paper with these little envelopes on with little hearts. So I cut a couple of these out to go in the bottom, because envelopes, you've guessed it, were on the evidence list. And in fact, so were stamps. And I've got a couple of sticky stamps. They're definitely, I think, a Maggie Holmes collection. Definitely American crafts anyway. But I actually do find some real stamps that I've collected over the years and add them in too. So I was definitely embracing the stamps and envelopes, because the original image for this challenge is a postman on a bike delivering cards and balloons and everything for Valentine's Day. So it was a really cute image. So there I am with my pencil ticking off already what I'm planning on using. Just having a look, there's another bit of ledger there that, I mean, this piece of paper must essentially be on so many different layouts, but I just think that extra bit tucked in there lifts that collection at the bottom. So I'm not far off actually thinking about sticking some of this together, and then I find a photo corner. Now that's not on the list, that's just me adding another bit of gold in. I've got quite a bit of gold elsewhere. I think it goes really well with the pink and the yellow, so I'm going to stick with the gold. So there's a square buckle that I mentioned, and there's a circular one that I'd already threaded onto the seam binding, and I prefer the circular one. I think there's enough squares going on, and I am going to add a couple of buttons as well, so actually the circles will be fine. I cut out these banner strips, scalloped edges. They don't make the final cut, but colour-wise they were really good match. So I've stuck down the main bodies of the top and the bottom off camera, and I'm just adding a few finishing touches. I just wanted to add those tags in and get them in the right position underneath the photograph and any other little bits and pieces embellishment wise. So I'm going to try and get these bits of vellum leaves in as well, just to soften that edge, because I'm very aware that the papers are quite hard the way that because they're square, or rectangular. I add the photo corner that I was talking about. So this is the buckle again. I'm going to bring it in. I'm definitely going with the circular one, and I'm going to just fluff out the ends. Just got to decide how big I want that to be. That's a 3D embellishment from Shenanigans. I'll link that company below. It's a little business I run myself, and I'm just sticking down that sticker just on a bit of foam just to lift it up a little bit from the other layers. So I really like the way it's gone so far, so I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. I want to get that seam binding to line a certain way, so I'll add some glue dots to that later. And this embroidery thread is going to go in the button. So I've got a nice flowery yellow button there that's going to sit on the left of the photograph. Just using some glue dots, I find them really, really useful to pop embellishments like this on. And there's a little chipboard heart, no idea where it's come from, but it's got a bit of black in it, and there's quite a bit of black going on in the layout, so that could be added above that stamp as well. So if you've enjoyed this video, do give us a thumbs up, do subscribe to my channel. I do enjoy making layouts and videos and sharing them with you guys, so it would all be a appreciated. I brought in some wax twine now. I've decided I'm going to put some in the tags and actually join the top and the bottom together in just in a very loose way, just to kind of connect them. This is very fine wax thread, so I've just woven it through that heart just to keep it still, and I'm going to bring it back in through the tag at the bottom. I just got to figure out how long I want that to be. So as you can see, I've cleared the decks. There's a few embellishments there that I might add, might not, but I've just kept them out at this stage, but the rest has been popped away, and I'm just going to tuck that wax in there. If I tucked it behind one of those tags, then it actually keeps it in place, but I will add some dots of wet glue and just weight it down just so that in a few places it was stable. So that's the finished layout. Thanks so much for watching. Do try out these challenges. Look on Instagram and on Facebook for them. There's 2 a month, and they're a great design team. So loads of inspiration. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope to see you here again real soon. Bye for now.